What's up, everybody? What's up? This is our first time back in from the big recruiting weekend, the party at the Palace. So Andy's got to do his best Unk impression, his best Shannon Sharp impression. He's disappointed in people. And then, of course, we had to bring on the one and only Mr. Brandon Drumm, one of the best insiders in the entire country. Been doing it a long time. He's one of those guys you hear coaches talk about a lot of time in recruiting that coaches have pipelines into certain schools and whatnot. And they recruit a bunch of players. Brandon Drumm has pipelines into information. He's got sources everywhere that have been built up, this network all over the years. So thanks for coming in, Brandon. Appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. It's hopefully you can have a good time here.
Absolutely. We're very laid back. We're very laid back, very casual. Absolutely. But I'll let now that JP's joined us, I'll let him take over his MC duties.
I'm back. My alter ego, Uncle JP was in the building after we had to flex on some Longhorn fans for some of their predictions of OU's recruiting class and the sky falling and whatnot. But yeah, guys, welcome back into the JP and Trav show on the YouTube channel. Trav obviously already introduced himself and our esteemed guest Brandon Drumm. So glad to have you on here today. I know you said you got a couple boys at the house. Everything going all right?
Yeah, there's 5 under the age of 10 and under. So there's 3 7-year-olds and 2 10-year-olds in the house. And it's been interesting since about 12:30 today.
Man,
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
My word. Hey, I figured we start off obviously with the huge recruiting weekend. I'm sure you've talked about it ad nauseum, but just give a little bit of synopsis. I know funny thing I've seen out there was people calling Miguel Chavez Game 6 Chavez after Game 6 played with Winnie Poole with Colton Vasek. But how would you describe, Brandon, just the way OU is recruiting right now?
Program changing style of recruiting right now. I mean, look, I think when Venables and Chavis and Bates and Roof and Hall and Valai and all those guys showed up on campus, they started offering all the Georgias and the Floridas and Alabamas and South Carolinas and Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana. You know, you're seeing all these Southeast offers going out, and everybody's going, dudes, like Oklahoma doesn't get those guys from down there very often. Like, they have a good pipeline into Florida, a decent one into Georgia, an okay one into Tennessee, but Alabama, like, that didn't happen. And now you're seeing Oklahoma going up into the Pacific Northwest. They're going up into New Jersey. I mean, they're far reaching right now. And this goes back to the former Clemson guys. That's how they recruited at Clemson. Like, they recruited that East Coast, whether it was Maine all the way down to the Florida Keys. They were going to offer somebody on the East Coast if they found it warranted. They dipped into Alabama because Hall coached in Alabama for 9 years at Troy. Obviously, Bates grew up in the state of Alabama. And then obviously Clemson. For some odd reason.
Valai coaching there, obviously.
Valai. Well, and then you got Georgia, the state of Georgia, where, and I think this is crazy. I think people don't understand how close Clemson is to Atlanta. It's an hour and 15 minutes from the Atlanta Metro. So for them, that's like going back home. I visited out there twice in the last 4 or 5 months since those guys have been hired. And I went all around the state of Georgia, all around Atlanta. And you won't find a negative thing about any one of those guys in that area, in that region. Similarly, Tampa, the metropolitan area of Tampa, Venables was born there, lived there till he was like 7, moved away. He goes back, recruits that area when he's at Clemson. He started at Oklahoma. If you remember strikers from that region, there's several other guys back in the 2000s, early 2010s that came over from the Tampa region, and that's all Brent Venables. So he's got this this hold on that area, and that's why Oklahoma's in on it. That's why they were in on it with Bowles till the end. I mean, that that shows you right there. Like if you can go head toe to toe with Georgia in Tampa or Alabama in Tampa or the University of Florida in Tampa or Auburn in Tampa, you're doing big things. I mean, and in particular, Orlando. Todd Bates knows Orlando like nobody else in the country. I mean, he's got that thing locked down if he wants to. And it's funny. I mean, like it's a crazy thing. I talked to people out there at Derek LeBlanc's commitment. It's just, I don't know. It's program changing because their connections are a lot deeper. And then you go back to the fact that, Venables has a strong connection to Texas because he's been recruiting that when he's at Oklahoma for years. That was a decade ago. He still recruited this region, Kansas, Missouri, all that whenever he was back at Clemson. Isaiah Simmons. He almost pulled Levi Draper whenever he was at Clemson. I knew everything about that recruitment. Levi Draper was enamored with Brent Venables and almost went there. So I mean, like it's program changing and it's program defining. And if they can end up like realistically, they have a chance to end up like 3, 4, 2, if they pull off who everybody thinks they might be able to pull off. And then you add the transfers. I think the thing people need to realize now is you can have a really good recruiting class. Transfers add into it. They add into the numbers. And so that changes everything. That's what made Oklahoma top 10 last year because they had so many great transfers come in. I mean, what they pulled in 2022 was good, wasn't great because everybody dipped out that was like 5-star and stuff when Riley left. Venables did everything he could in a matter of a month and a half, and then they went to work on the transfers. And I mean, you talk about doing work. They did work in the transfer portal.
Right.
They don't want to build the program around transfers, though. So I would expect around 24 to 27, 28 commits in this class. And then maybe 4, 5, 6 transfers at most.
Yeah, I definitely always, felt as we talk about numbers and, how he said he wants to build this, at more of a high school built, program as opposed to a heavy transfer. Obviously, you're going to have your transfers fill in, but it's going to be heavy classes. And it's kind of an interesting approach because even if you look back to the 2021 class with Oklahoma, it was a smaller class because, you had a lot of really good, talent there. But Lincoln was like, well, let me go in the portal. We'll fill out from there. Whereas it seems like Venables is much higher on the high school talent. I will say, when the hire happened and as we started to see the assistants come on, one of the things that stuck out to me was hiring Venables as opposed to I don't know, a Lanning or a Fickle or a whoever, name anybody really. Even if we a Cliff Kingsbury or a whoever, Venables, in my heart of hearts, I believe Venables is the only one that could have assembled this staff that had the respect throughout the region, throughout the country, to have the respect of coaches that had those ties. Because it's one thing to be from Alabama, or it's different to coach at wherever. They did those things, and they also turned people into first-round picks. I mean, let's not get it twisted. They got headhunters. They got certified dudes to come in and be on this staff, and that's what I love about it so much is it shows you how much respect Venables has in the industry from around the country, and that is that's going to carry over. We've already seen it carry over into the recruiting class, and I think after a good year, we're going to see it. I mean, for the longest time, Brandon, you probably were. If I'd asked you 8 months ago if the 2023 class or the 2024 class was going to be higher rated, I think most would have said the 2024 class. I think
100%.
Just because you've got the Stacey Gage, the David Stones, the local connections to them, shoe-in type of top talent. And I think everybody I remember talking to people about it, like, hey, 2023 is going to be good. 2024 has a chance to be special. Now, 2024 still has the absolute chance to be special, and special quicker, most likely. But, I mean, this 2023 class, it's going to be tough to beat numbers-wise. It really is. So exciting times. And then you look what we have in the 2025 class offered out already. You've already got, again, a couple of these things kind of break your way. You've got Mosey, that's obviously a legacy. Offered him 2025. He'll likely be a 5-star receiver. And then Ravian Larry, the in-state product out of Idabel. I mean, he'll likely be a 5-star product. He's insane right now. So I don't want to start giving out stars. I know that's not my job on this podcast, but
there's a guy right across the border by the name of Kevin Sperry that
quarterback
has a chance to be pretty special. And he likes Oklahoma a lot. He hasn't been offered yet, but he's got offers from almost everybody else. Oklahoma's going to wait for like 3 or 4 games, and then we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and I think with that, it's you got to have a couple of those ties go your way, right? Like obviously the Overton tie didn't go our way, but you have, I mean, the 2023 class is kind of lacking in the direct like legacy ties, hometown ties, things like that. Like so you get that in the 2024, which is just kind of a little bump, and then you really get that class going nicely. When you get multiple 5 stars that just either by the luck of the draw, their parents decided to have them here in Oklahoma, or whatever, right? Like out of the luck of the draw, they just happen to grow up in Oklahoma or be born in Oklahoma. You've got to capitalize on those, and I think we have those opportunities in 2024 and 2025. You turned your mic off.
Your mic cut out.
No, of course I did. Oklahoma's gonna have a really good 2024 class. Like you said, you named it. David Stone. I'm trying to think of obviously
Zadavian
Sims. Yeah, you can go on Stacey Gage. Yeah. Right, like all those guys, Oklahoma's in a really good spot for. Michael Hawkins could be your guy at quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of connections there. Dax Collins is a guy I think at Poto that has a chance to really sprout up into the rankings whenever he has a chance to be seen by more than just myself. Look, this isn't going to be like a one-hit wonder. And I said this on our last podcast, on the Under the Visor Sooners podcast. Look, if Oklahoma wins 9, 10, 11 games, potentially 12, I mean, like, I don't know. I picked them to go 10-2, 11-1. Like, that's just kind of my range. That's a baseline. Like I can see going undefeated, but that's hard. Like people don't understand. Like undefeated's hard.
We've gone undefeated. We've gone undefeated in conference play just once, I believe, in the last
2004,
18 years. Yeah.
Did we go undefeated in 2016 too?
Well, that's what I'm saying. 2016 was the most recent. So one out of
I don't even think about that. I forgot they lost 2 games to start the season. Yeah, so I don't even think about that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so undefeated that's the one time the undefeated in conference since then. So you look at that. I know we're going to be favored in every game we play, but I don't see us blowing leads in the second half. I see us having the defense to hold on to leads, and I see Levy saying, "Hey, I was 11th in the country in rushing attempts last year. The top 3 were obviously service academies because they still don't know the forward pass exists. So he runs the ball a ton, runs the ball in the second half a ton, while airing out in the first half. Like his offense is built to protect leads, and now he gets to do it against the Big 12 instead of the SEC, most importantly. But he gets to do it with a Brent Venables defense behind him. So Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, go ahead.
No. I mean, look, you made the point. Like 2024, 2025. If Oklahoma can do what everybody thinks they're gonna do this year in the 2022 season, why not have a better recruiting class? Like, that's crazy to say for what they're doing in 23. But you also have, like we've named, you've got 2 top 50 division or defensive linemen in literally your own state. I know David Stone is at IMG right now, but he's named OU his leader. His parents, while he's at Michigan State, his parents are visiting Oklahoma. Like, you tell me what's going on there. Like, it's and he doesn't shy away from it. He's like, yeah, man, Oklahoma's my favorite school. Like, at some point in time over the next 7-8 months, he'll probably be committed to OU. Like, that's just how this thing's going to work. But right now, he's going to garner the offers. He's going to go through the September 1st, getting all the calls, getting all these coaches all over him and all that type of stuff. Enjoy that for a few months like most people do. A lot of kids get tired of it. They get real tired of it. They set all their visits up for like early in the spring, whether it's April, May, or June, and then they're done come July. And I think that's kind of how this is going to work out again with him. I think come July or August next year, and I know I said 7-8 months, but I can't see him not being committed outside of that. Like, I think he's going to be done. He will be he'll probably be a sooner earlier than that, but
I don't see him letting a lot of people commit before him. I'll put it that way. I think he's been kind of the vocal, whether it's in the Southeast, whether it's at IMG, anything like that, kind of the obvious, like, okay, this kid's,
he recruits kids.
Yeah, exactly. But I think once he sees a couple people pop, he's going to be like, man, I want to lock it up too, and I can start, doing this, that, and the other. What's interesting is on his, I've never seen this before, on his 247 page. Usually you see like cool or warm or anything like that.
Oh, he's got favorite. Yeah, favorite.
I've never seen that before. Like,
that was done by, I think, Andrew Ivins.
Like, how obvious do you have to be on a lean to be listed as favorite?
Wow.
I mean, but here's the thing. The overarching points are, look, 2024 is going to be special. 2025 is going to be special. But
the state of Oklahoma 25 is going to be special.
But yeah, just a lot of really good talent in
easier
class.
on Oklahoma.
Right.
They're not going to leave. They'll probably have 7 or 8 guys in their own class in 2025 out of the OK Preps.
Yeah,
so that makes it so easy for them.
You think about this. Think about the things going against Brent Venables and company right now, right? Brand new coach, never been a head coach before, new spot, new relationships, right? Same relationships, but different place. I've been recruiting him to this place. Maybe it's a regional thing, this, that, and the other. Oklahoma talent, some of the relationships may have been spoiled before. They may have been hamstrung by that. You may have a situation like, by Job that really didn't like grow up in Oklahoma, grow up in Norman and anything like that. Like it wasn't, there were some factors against this class at the NIL era, just dropping bags left and right. We still don't know that translates to winning. I would argue
Tommy Tuberville is going to save the day.
Save the day.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw it. I work in the NIL business. I see all this. I see all this crazy news. So with that, I'm still a big believer that culture is going to win over NIL every time because, again, Marvin Hagler quote: "It's hard to wake up and do road work at 5 a.m. if you slept in silk pajamas." And you got a lot of teams full of a lot of dudes wearing silk pajamas, and then they're going to run into a Venables defense that's been up working since 5 a.m. I think it's going to be crazy. But also, so to my point, you have all those kind of, we'll call them negatives or neutrals working against Venables and co. Well, if they perform like we think they're going to perform this year, you put the game on easy mode at that point, because now you've got proven success. You've got a backyard rich full of talent. You've got NIL. Oh, maybe A&M didn't win the national championship. Maybe kids are thinking twice about that. Maybe their contract. Maybe they're not getting paid what they are supposed to. Maybe this, that, and the other. Like, it's going to be so much easier to recruit in 2024 and 2025 than it was for this staff in 2023, and they're still going to finish with a top 4 class, in my opinion. Like, that's what's crazy, is they're very much, for you Dragon Ball Z fans, they're wearing the weighted training clothing, and they're about to take those off, and they're really going to start flying around.
That's over my head right there. All these Dragon Ball Z, like, I have no idea what anybody.
All of them, I said one.
You're not a Dragon Ball Z
I
fan?
see them all the time. I see them all the time on Twitter, and I have no idea what any of that stuff means.
I'll put it this way. All right, you're in the batter's box, and you got the weights on it. I got the weights.
There you go.
He's tapping the bat. The weights are coming off. They're going to be swinging free.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. I can do analogies all day, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Sweet.
That's better for me. That's better for me than the adult cartoon. I don't even. Is it an adult cartoon? I don't even know.
I watched it when I was in sixth and seventh grade.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm against. Y'all watch what you want to watch. Y'all watch what you want to watch.
I'm not saying you adults that still watch Dragon Ball Z are weird.
I'll say, hey man, go for it, man. People loving it in the comments. So,
you do you.
Got to play to your base.
Hey, listen, ain't nothing wrong with anime, okay? I mean,
no. I'm about to go watch Ninja Turtles, the movie, after my 30 minutes on Here's Up, bros.
There you go.
The newer ones, or like Secret of the Ooze?
Like, I want to go watch the old ones.
Go Ninja.
The old ones are
Ninja.
so much better than the new ones.
So
much better.
That's a certified fact. You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. Hey, I wanted to, while we have you here still, Brandon, one of the things, we're kind of going to go backwards because I know you got those boys, so I'm not sure how long we have you for. We do a game every week on the show called This or That. So basically all it is I'm going to give a prompt, 2 questions. You got to choose which one you'd rather do and say why. So some of them are hard. We do one food one at the end, which is pretty fun most of the time. All right, first one. Roy Williams or Brian Bosworth?
Oh, my gosh.
You should have seen the one I asked last week. Trav, you remember what I asked last week? I almost got killed.
What'd you say?
I said Patty Gasso or Barry Switzer.
Even this one, I might have sit here. I'm debating. Look, here's the thing. Roy Williams is my age, so I'm gonna go with the Boz because I grew up wearing the Boz's haircut. I had the flat top with the lines in the side and all that type of stuff. I idolized the Boz growing up. Like when I was a kid, my mom would literally. Ironically, I worked for Brian Bishop, and he was the one that ran Sooners Illustrated when I was growing up, the magazine, and owned it. So that's just, to me, that's kind of hilarious. And it just kind of fate, I guess. I don't know. But my mom would open up the Oklahoma program or the Sooners Illustrated and say, which haircut do you want as a 4, 5, 6-year-old kid? So, and I always would go to Boz because I love Bosworth. And so I'm going to go with Boz. I know Roy Williams, dude. Roy Williams, Superman. You're the GOAT of all GOATs at safety. But I idolize Boz. He won the Buckets twice. He won a natty. I know you did too, Roy Williams, but I'm going to go with Boz.
I like it. I like the rationale.
Brandon is correct in this or that. It is the Boz. Larger than life. Had an action figure. He's the
30 for 30.
He's the sheriff of Fansville. I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, 30 for 30. It's just crazy, and I think a lot of people in that era are going to get the nod just of the swagger that Switzer brought to the program at the time, all that. Not to downplay anything Stoops did, but it was just, Switzer could walk in, much like the story we heard, could walk in to the cafeteria in a full-length mink coat, hold up his ring and say, hey, Boz, you want one of these? You're not going to get one at A&M. What? That era of swag is unmatched, absolutely unmatched. So
You
while
want one of these?
and here's the thing, Venables are going, you want one of these? But with Roy, Roy might even say the boss in this, to be honest. It's one of those things. Yes, there could be only one Superman. All that. I'm a big Roy Williams guy. Every Sooner fan is. But yeah, I think it's got to be the boss here. It's just simply iconic.
Yeah,
I agree.
Now I can't. Typically, and Brandon, just so you know, we've had other guests on here. They elected to go the opposite way if everybody went one way, but I can't argue with it. I agree. My mom went to school with Brian Bosworth, knows him personally as well. So she told me stories of just being able to see him live and in person and the type of impact that he had. And obviously, again, we know Superman is great, but no, I agree completely with everybody else. The boss. All right, next one. 4-team playoff or 12-team playoff. Now, I'm personally a proponent for 8 personally, but I think these were the
you didn't give me that option, so
these were the most popular ones. It's the one they said they were considering. So
I mean, I think with the move to the SEC, if you're Oklahoma, you want a 12-team playoff. Just makes sense. So you got your 4 conferences at this point because the Pac-12 is about to be disbanded. So, unless I think the Pac-12, if they're smart, they go get Boise State, and they go get I'm trying to think who that, maybe Colorado State or somebody like that to kind of fill the void. I know it's not, but at least keeps you. I mean, in Idaho, and people don't know this, it's one of the fastest growing, especially Boise, one of the fastest growing metros in the United States. Like Californians are moving there in droves right now. So it's kind of like Oklahoma City right now, where all the Californians are just like coming on top of you right now, and you can't stop it. It is what it is. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I mean, in Austin, Dallas, Oklahoma City, Californians coming in like crazy. So,
come for the OU talk, but stay for the Boise facts, baby.
Yeah. So, with the Pac-12 kind of being disbanded, I don't know that you're going to be able, as long as Oregon is involved and Washington are involved and Arizona State are going to be in that conference, it's going to be a Power 5, but it's going to be kind of like the ACC is right now, or the Pac-12. It's kind of like the Pac-12 now already, I guess. Sans USC and UCLA. So,
again, like the Pac-12 already.
Yeah, kind of. I guess, whatever. Boise's going to be pretty dominant in that conference outside of Oregon. So, look, you would have your 4 or 5 conference champs. They're automatic bids, and then after that, you go by the point system, kind of like the BCS, and you get your other 7. And I guess you would have to have the best G5, the highest G5 rating. Notre Dame would automatically be in, as long as they're not in the Big Ten or ACC at that point. So, I mean, I think that's how you'd have to go. So 12 would probably be it, just because you're going to have a lot of 16-team leagues and conferences. So it's just going to be a lot harder you're going to have a lot of 2-loss teams in the playoffs at that point because of it's just not going to be you're not going to see when the SEC turns into 16 teams, you're not going to see a lot of the teams playing like freaking Kent State or UTEP anymore. Like those are going to be it's going to be not right off the bat, but it's going to be faded out, I think, pretty quickly. And I feel bad for those programs. I do.
Yeah, I can see your tears here. But you are wrong on this one, Brandon. Sticking with 4. You know what? You don't need to dilute the regular season, and I know the
it doesn't dilute it.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't dilute it. You still have to do the point system. You use a BCS point system. You don't screw the whole committee where it favors and weighs in your conference and your schedule.
Alabama
just like the BCS did.
Alabama will sit every single player in the SEC championship game because they've already clinched a berth because there's no way they drop past number 12. You don't need automatic bids. First of all, you don't need automatic bids in a 12 or a 16 anyways, because if you're a conference champion, you surely are one of the top 12 teams in the country at that point. But a 4-team, you're going to have to convince me that
nobody said you needed them, but it's just how they're going to word it.
No, the 4-team is fine. OU and Texas moving over. Texas has never been to a playoff. Yeah, OU's been to it, but the SEC's got multiple teams before anyways. I mean, it doesn't have to change. USC's not been to a playoff. UCLA's never been to a playoff. We don't need to change it just simply based off conference realignment.
It's going to be big. The 4-team is basically going to be SEC versus Big Ten. That's what
Bring
it's going
it
to be.
on, baby. Let's do it. AFC,
that's what it's going to be.
Let's set it all up.
And it's going to piss off. It's going to eventually be 12 just because of that. Because the Big 12, the ACC, and the Pac-12 are going to get pissed off that they're being left out.
Tell them to get better. Tell them to stop being poor. Okay. Tell them to stop being poor. This is
I thought OU was poor.
No, apparently not. We got cash coming out. We're like, have you seen the movie Blow? That's basically what Josie's office looks like. Apparently, is the house in Blow. He's just looking at. Well, we run out of the place.
$353 million in donations.
Tell you what, man. That's what the office looks like. So that's the thing. I'm a fan of 4. My problem is you're always going to have an argument of wherever the cutoff is. You'll have the 13th team is going to be pissed off because
what about 4-8? What about 4-8? 4-8. I choose 8 over 4.
You could talk to me about 8 because then you do.
I'm with you on that.
You do get your automatic qualifier. Here's the thing: if you're going to expand, I don't want to expand much, but I do think right now, as long as the opportunity exists, the possibility exists for there to be 5 undefeated conference champions. It's possible right now, but an undefeated conference champion can get left out of the playoff in right now's model. With 8, I don't think there's a ton of drop off but I do think the 8 you have to make the top seeds host the first game
and that would be great. I think if the universities are stupid if they don't go for that.
They still think
that's extra money.
I still think you need to incentivize teams to never rest anybody, because I think if you go much higher than 8, then Bama knows they're in, Notre Dame likely knows they're in, Ohio State knows they're in. I mean, there's going to be certain teams that if you expand, then they are guaranteed a playoff spot. And I like to tell Texas they've never been to the playoff. I like to tell A&M they've never been to the playoff. I like to tell USC that. And if you expand to 12, they might be able to weasel their way in off of some stupid metric, like who knows. So 8 would be the absolute highest I could go.
Do you remember what Pate's take on this was?
Yeah, Pate's not an expansionist.
I didn't think so. I didn't remember.
I thought he liked 6. I think he liked 6.
I think you have to have. I personally think you can't have 6 because you're like, okay, well then the top 2 seeds get buys, right? I mean, that's theoretically what a 6 model does. So if you have that
incentivizes the regular season with the buys.
But also you have that argument of 2 versus 3. There has not been good enough metrics sometimes to determine the 2-3. And that is such an extreme advantage to have a bye. So if you have an extreme advantage to have a bye in football, I mean, you have if you go back through the history of the playoff, the 2 and 3 teams are largely interchangeable a lot of the time. And that 2 gets a bye, which is, again, invaluable. No injuries, lots of rest, no risk of getting those. I mean, it's valuable. So I think 8 is fair. Everybody plays the same amount of games, and your top 4 seeds host the first round, and then you can go back into your rotating 2 bowl games that are whatever your semis are, and then you can play the final. But again, the money to the home teams, yeah. If OU was hosting Oregon in a playoff game, in December, I mean, come on, that'd be insane.
Yeah, that's why I would personally go for it. If I had to choose between 4 and 12, I would choose 12. In my mind, I'd like to see the matchup, and I tend to agree with Brandon. I don't think it has to water down the season. I think you can make it work, but I do understand where you're coming from.
Because the home field advantage is why they wouldn't rest during the SEC title game, because the second they lost, they lose their home field advantage.
In a 12 you might, because if you're taking half the teams, then you're trying to tell me Alabama dropped from 1 to 7 if they didn't play? If they didn't play the
lost,
starters?
yes, they can drop 4.
Lose to and the people they've lost in the past, didn't move past 4. Now you're expected to be convinced that they're going to move.
Yeah, but you forget how vindictive. You forget how vindictive media people and voters are.
Doesn't matter. It's you said it's mathematical. You said it's like a BCS model.
Well, and they would blast them for that.
Yeah.
The computers wouldn't hold grudges. Computers would be like, "Wow, Bama's,"
because it would go the metric. If you have say Alabama's already got 1 loss and they ended up losing again there. They got 2, and you got like 3 or 4 1-loss teams, and now they're going up against the other 2-loss teams.
In my scenario, they
start to go up against it.
In my scenario, they're undefeated.
You can't. Okay.
It's my scenario. I can say whatever I want. We just saw them go undefeated. We've seen it recently. So
they didn't go undefeated last year, did they?
No,
100%.
Undefeated. No, they got beat by A&M. But what I'm saying is we've seen them go into undefeated SEC champion, go into that game with a 12-team model, has far more incentive to rest their entire team against the best team they're going to play that year. We all know people talk about like, hey, after the week after you play Bama, like you still hurt. Like it is like getting in multiple car wrecks playing Bama. Like, so with that, it's the same against Georgia's D or something like that. They'd be like, okay, so I'm going to not play a game. I'm still going to be in the playoff, but I'm going to be a whole game more rested, and I'll take my chances.
Yeah,
eight's the highest I'm going. 8's the highest I'm going.
I would agree. I think we all agree that 8's the ideal.
Yeah, I didn't like the 12. I wanted 8. So
no.
Yeah. Kick Jacob out the chat for calling me a Texas fan.
Did he call you a Texas fan?
He said I'm moving the goalposts. I'm not at all.
Oh my gosh! All right, last one. It's our food one that we always typically do because Trav typically, he's eating some popcorn, but typically Trav eating a full meal on Wednesday nights with us, whether it's wings, steak, something. He always got something. So Papa John's or Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut.
Oh man, right off the bat. Why?
I don't know. I've always liked their crust, and I can't eat marinara sauce. So like
you allergic or you don't like it?
I mean, acid reflux is a hell of a thing, man. So
he's
getting older. Man. I'm getting older.
He's old, man. He's old.
I'm getting older. So yeah, man.
He put his teeth in for the podcast. He's being
yeah, that's why they're so white.
Yeah, exactly. He dipped them. He's good to go. Oh man.
Plus, you know what? If you're supporting Papa John's, you're supporting Louisville and their NIL.
And if there's one team that I would love to take all of the stars away from teams that actually compete, it's Louisville. So absolutely, go waste away in Louisville so I don't have to deal with you on Bama or Georgia or Ohio State. Appreciate it. I'm going Papa John's because it's not only is the pizza good, but they really started the pepperoncinis being in the box as well as the garlic sauce. I think those put them over the top for me because I'm just the pizzas are decently comparable, but it's the intangibles. Gotta appreciate the intangibles.
Okay, I'm gonna go Papa John's. They're close for me. I'm not gonna lie. I like both of them. But I'm gonna go Papa John's Probably partially because my wife is in love with Papa John's, and that's all if we go
Let's
to
eat real pizza. It's called Hideaway.
Hideaway.
Hideaway's good. Hideaway's good. I like Hideaway. I will say the
Yeah,
JP
look at that. Look at
such a
this
good
Indianapolis guy. He's like, Hideaway. What is Hideaway?
Hey, listen.
JP's such a good host because he's like, yeah, I see where both y'all are coming from. I'm like all of them. I'm like,
No,
I've
listen,
never seen
know
JP be
about
like,
Hideaway. So,
you're wrong. You're a fool. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I agree with Jacob Mazur. Empire is better than Hideaway, but
He's still in
Hideaway's
here.
still really
He's
good.
still in here.
Yeah,
I thought we tossed that.
Empire.
fool.
I do like Empire. I do like Empire Slice. It's pretty good.
Empire's good. It's good. They just put one in downtown Tulsa. Actually, I'll be moving downtown here. I don't know. I'm on a waiting list for this one particular floor plan I like, but it's like
You should have asked Tulsa or Oklahoma City.
what? Yeah. Oh God, you don't want these problems.
I might put that in the
The
chamber.
chat would have blown up, dude.
Oh,
The
yeah.
chat would have blown up.
Brandon would pick Boise in that argument.
No, I would choose
apparently.
OKC, bro.
You know, apparently
would
though,
choose
man, have you
OKC.
heard about Boise's Metro dog blowing up all those Californians? But no, it's like downstairs from where I live. I could walk out. I could be at an Empire in like 6 minutes. So I do like Empire. They got some unique pizzas.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Good stuff.
I'm gonna need to try some of those places when I visit again.
Got a lot of 918ers out here in this chat. I can tell you that.
That's
Let me
right.
tell y'all something. Hey, who has the NBA?
Dang.
Yeah. You'd lose them if all of us didn't drive from Tulsa to come see them.
Bull crap.
You might lose them now because all y'all too cheap to buy a new arena. Everybody,
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. They're gonna buy a new arena. They are. It's called the Maps Project. It's called the Maps Project.
These big new billionaires need to buy me an arena.
It's okay.
See, get out of here. Oh, they're all whining about taxes.
You picked one Twitter post and like went with it.
All of them. They're too cheap to buy a stadium. That's why we're going to lose them. If we ever lose the Thunder, Oklahoma City can never win an argument ever again over Tulsa.
They won't lose it. They'll vote for it in the maps. They'll have it in the next 10 years. It'll be all good.
Oh my. Oh, all right. Hey, let's get into our Q&A time. I know you have 5 million questions for Brandon while he's still in here. So go ahead and throw them in the chat while we wait. While you guys are talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma City, I would do a random cities in Oklahoma like McAllister or Edmond or something like that. You know, just throw random towns up against each other. You never know.
Well, Edmond wins that by like just a landslide.
You're right.
Depends on how much you value prisons.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
If you're a big fan of prison,
then you should. If it's a prison, if it's a prison off, you have to go El Reno or McAllister.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
What about Lawton versus Stillwater?
Now we're doing army bases, so you got to go. You have to go Midwest City versus which is Air Force. Midwest City versus Lawton, or Enid versus Lawton when they have Vance Air Force Base.
Yeah,
Enid's a nice town actually.
Oh man. So. Okay,
not as many pawn shops as Lawton.
Here's our first one from Topher B. Edric Hill or Caden McDonald, more likely? Which one's more likely for OU? Obviously,
oh my gosh. They're both going to visit Oklahoma in the fall. I'm going to say Edric just because his teammate plays, and it's starting to sound a lot more like Caden McDonald. As much as he has like everybody in his circle in Oklahoma or close to Oklahoma or whatever, it sounds like getting away from mom and that far away in Georgia is becoming kind of it's becoming hard to pursue that. So we'll see. You have to trust in Todd Bates in this because his relationship with Caden McDonald is better than anybody else, just like you kind of hear that with David Hicks and obviously Derek LeBlanc. I guess it's just I'll go Edric Hill just because he's teammates with PJ Adebawore.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's if there was an option for neither, that probably would win in a in an A versus B versus C vote as
Yes,
far as who's
yes,
going to end up in the
probably.
class. So neither
I think
would.
Amari Washington might have a better shot at Oklahoma than both of those right now.
Wow.
But
Amari Washington's quiet. He's sneaky, and he's been to Oklahoma a couple of times. So,
all right, Amari Washington.
That's an interest.
Amari Washington or Marcus Deal.
Amari Washington.
Oh, interesting.
Because I don't know where Oklahoma sees Marcus Steele. I don't know.
All right, another question. Not sure why you would have any other teams to root for, Drew. But I mean, other than OU, do you have any other college football teams that you root for?
I actually don't root for OU anymore because I can't. So I mean that's part of the job. No. I mean, I grew up an OU fan. I mean, I 100% did that. My family they have season tickets with my mom. So no, I mean, of course you look, any media person that covers the University of Oklahoma says, "Oh, I'm not a fan. I don't care what they do." Well, bro, you care because the better they do, the better we do, and the more money we make. So it goes hand in hand. So I think that's kind of it's a ridiculous statement by anybody. Yeah, you're supposed to be neutral, and you're supposed to report in a neutral tone, but you want Oklahoma to do well because it helps you out with your business. I mean, that's stupid. And the only thing that was better for our business was the Lincoln Riley crap, because that was amazing in the coaching change. That was it. That was the only thing.
Tell
me that, man.
Lincoln Riley personally ascended this man. Okay.
Yep. Businesses are booming. So that's funny.
I'll never forget, Brandon, when Lincoln, so the Sunday that we found out Lincoln was leaving, I remember talking to Trav on the phone, and we were just talking just in shock, right? And then Trav goes, "JP, how am I going to get my smokers?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "My smokers are at his house." And that's when I knew, I was like, this is going to go to a whole nother level, because you have smokers at this dude's house. Then it breaks on Twitter, and it was nuts from there. That was.
Well, you tagged him. You tagged him. He's like, "Can I have my smokers back?"
He had Lincoln Riley thinking Trav was bringing
he didn't answer
to his house or something.
He didn't answer. He didn't tweet me back.
He had an assistant get a hold of you.
yeah. Heffley didn't give him his password or something, but
yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Here's another one. David Whitehead, asks, how many corners do we have for depth?
A lot. I mean, let's count them. Woody Washington, DJ Graham, Jaden Davis, CJ Colden, Gentry Williams. Hold on. I wrote a story about this today. I can tell you who they are. Kenai Walker. Give me a second and I will tell you who every freaking one of these dudes are. It's more than Kenai. So how many is that? Where were we at?
I think we're at 6. With
6.
Kenai Walker. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to count them down for you. There is, all right, Woody Washington, DJ Graham, Jaden Davis, Josh Eaton, CJ Colden, Gentry Williams, Kenai Walker. There's 7. I think that's enough. And I'm sure I'm missing somebody. Oh, Kendall Dennis. There's 8.
Mm.
That's a lot. And those are really good players, by the way.
Yeah,
all those dudes are 4 or 5-star guys. So
yep.
You're doing all right. You're doing all right.
I'm gonna throw a question in while we go too. Woody's gonna start on one side. If you had to put your money on it, who's the other side starting corner?
I'm intrigued at this.
Well, I talked to somebody that might know this. That may be
What did they say?
They said DJ Graham. And this person also said DJ Graham has the highest ceiling if he stays consistent. They say he is just a freak when he gets going, and he's like locked in. And I could see that. I mean, it showed during the season.
I mean,
whenever he was locked in,
that catch last the Nebraska.
When he's locked in, he's really good. But
yeah,
he was so inconsistent in what he did on a play-by-play basis.
Yeah.
So I will pick DJ Graham, but I will not be shocked if Kenai Walker and or CJ Colton.
It's Kenai Walker for me, I think.
Trav,
he's a freak.
Where did you go? And he's still talking. Where are you at?
I'm checking my mail.
Oh man, no, we we had that conversation last week. We were talking, just really wondering, because we're going through the depth chart, and we were wondering who's going to start opposite for Woody Washington. So that was interesting. We knew DJ Graham was penciled in there from last year, but we didn't know how true that really was. So it's cool to hear that he's still making strides, and hopefully it will be more consistent for sure. All right. And sitters, I'm gonna hope I pronounced that right. Y'all
Caleb Williams. That's an easy one.
Yeah,
easy.
Caleb Williams. We love DG. You guys are quarterback, but we ain't got to be crazy.
One has a chance to be a first pick in the draft. The other one is has a chance to be. Yeah, I think with a really good year, Dylan Gabriel could be like a second, third, fourth round pick. I really do. I think he knows where he knows his limitations. He's not stupid. But you want to know the thing is the leadership quality of Dylan Gabriel. Excuse me, I almost said DJ Graham. Dylan Gabriel supersedes anything that he does on the field. He's a very talented quarterback. He has a strong enough arm to do the deep ball. Everybody questions that. But when you go watch his UCF film, the dude is stroking the ball down 40, 50, 60 yards down the field on bombs. So he understands he's got to get it out earlier. He understands the timing of the aspect because of his arm strength may not be able to get it, And I've watched him work. I've watched him throw it 70 yards. But, he puts all of his might into it where Caleb is – he flicks his wrist and the dang thing goes 70 yards. So
let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. Not a lot of times do you have to throw it 70 yards in a game.
No. If he throws a 40, 45-yard bomb, he's going to get it there. He's going to be perfect pass. Levy said it yesterday. One of his best attributes is his deep ball and the touch that he puts on it. So I think that, I think with his leadership quality, the timing he's going to have with these wide receivers, everybody wants to play for him because they love him. He did the whole, dime time retreats with everybody on the offense. So I think the close-knit part of the offense is going to make this offense click a little bit more than last year's. And look, Reggie Grimes I was standing right there. I think I asked a question. He started talking about dysfunction within the locker room last year. So, there's none of that going on right now. And that started before the season. Mm-hmm. So, this is a whole nother level right now as far as just the tight knit aspect of the program, the coaches, the players, everybody. It's on a different level as far as that goes, and that can take you to another level on the field as well. So, but as far as arm talent, come on, Caleb Williams is a generational talent. That's not fair.
You're right. You're absolutely right. This will be a funny one. Brandon, how does it feel to be loved by the Notre Dame world? Parker is despised.
Look, I'm not as brash as Parker is, so that they don't like how brash and to the point he is. I kind of lay things out more gentle than he does, and that's the only reason why they like me more.
What's funny is though, those of us that know Parker, for him to be called the devil and all that stuff, I'm like,
no, he's the most Christian guy you can
yeah,
meet.
Right? What?
Yeah, that's not happening. No, he's a good guy. It's just crazy. Like I think it's kind of ridiculous, but fans are gonna fan, so it is what it is. There's plenty of people that hate me on other boards. Like I think Texas A&M hates me. Whatever.
Hey, we got Oklahoma people that hate Travis, so
Yeah, soon.
So you got Oklahoma people that hate me.
That's true.
Like, I see screenshots all the time sent to me all the time from other boards where people just bash me, and I'm like, dude, what did I do? I'm at home hanging out with my wife and kids, and I get a text message. I'm like, why are you sending me this? Like, I don't want to see that.
You're just doing your job. You're just doing your job. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, I think this is a good question, and it's something that Trav and I talked about with Parker in Two Plane Sports. Monday night. I know it's been brought up before, but how long does OU continue to recruit Bowman?
I think honestly, I think this decision he's going to announce here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even before that. I mean, I could see it. I could see it at the beginning of next week too. Like I could see it at any point in time between now and the 25th of August. And I know that's a broad timeline, and people are going, "Oh, you're just so you can be right." No, that's literally the time I was told. I was told it could come either early next week. If it doesn't do that, it's going to come closer to the 25th. So, I mean, this is just. I think it's going to be done. Like whoever he picks, he's going to be done. So if he picks A&M, OU's going to move on. You might as well start focusing on names like Jeremiah England, Conrad Hussey, and there's going to be some other names pop up. But OU's going to continue to recruit his teammate Ryan Yates, and I think that's OU's in a good spot for him. So they have a good chance. I think he'll take an official probably September sometime. Trying to get his parents back up there with him because he really liked it in Norman.
All right, I've got a question. Girlfriend, brother offer, and brother like Jackson Arnold, potentially Ryan Yates. Okay, that's a lot of things going in OU's favor. I want you to tell me what exactly is going in Texas A&M's favor that he likes.
TJ Rushing. He's a good recruiter. He's a good recruiter. I've known TJ for about 20 years. He is the guy that stripped the ball from me on the 2-yard line in the state semis our senior year. Beat us by 6. He likes to joke with me about that whenever we talk. So we've known each other for years and years and years and still are friends. So good guy, really good recruiter. He's an Oklahoma guy. Like I could see him coaching at OU at some point in his career and being very good for Oklahoma on the recruiting trail.
So that's it, huh? He's like, you know what?
I know you want me to say NIL, and I'm sure NIL is involved in that.
I didn't want you to say anything.
I'm sure it is. I can't, but see, I can't like factually confirm that.
You can't report
I don't
that.
know.
Right? Yeah, you're not reporting
that. But I'm sure some of that's involved. Just like Malachi Nelson, Zachariah Branch, Mekhi Lemon.
What?
Here's a question that Trav, I'm sure, will like. He's been, I won't say roasted is not the right word because I agree with his take, so I guess I've been roasted too, technically. Which running back will break out this season? Now, historically, Travis and I have been down on one Marcus Major. And I saw Trav locked in a couple of battles on Twitter, which he doesn't normally get in. He wasn't battling. I'll say wasn't battling, but just talking about Marcus Major and hoping he breaks out. But to this point, what have we seen that will say he's going to be consistent? So which running back do you think will break out this season?
I mean, I've heard really good things about Gavin Stalchuk. I really have. Like,
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is DeMarco Murray. When I asked like who will play out of all these guys, he said every one of them will play. And he said he's not talking special teams. He's not talking like they are going to play. So like breakout, I think is kind of a that's a hard
Relative
term to
to,
really. Yeah, I mean like obviously EG is going to be the dude for Oklahoma this year. I think Marcus Major has a chance to be really good for Oklahoma, but I think those two freshmen, if they don't watch out, those two freshmen could end up being the dudes that split the time with EG. So I mean, there's a lot at stake here for Major. He's done really well this summer. He has a chance to be that breakout guy. But those two freshmen, I mean, Oklahoma absolutely thinks those guys have a chance to be superstars. So we'll see.
Good. Let's find a couple more questions, and then we'll get you out of here so you can watch Ninja Turtles. This is a good one from what we talked about earlier. What would you say the Boz's NIL worth would be in today's age?
Millions.
He would be at A&M.
No, because Switzer.
Switzer would have spent like.
Switzer was there.
Yeah, I'll put it this way: if Switzer had the
if NIL was back
money,
during the time back then, he would have been worth millions of dollars. But here's the thing: he didn't become the boss until like his sophomore year, late part of his sophomore year. So he would have been at Oklahoma, and at that point, as good as he sold himself, his NIL worth would have been crazy, like in millions of dollars. Like between him and Dion, there's nobody. And Dion literally says that he learned how to sell himself from the boss. Like he learned everything that he did when he was in college and in the NFL from the boss. He copied it basically, got that swag and everything. So, I mean that he'd have been worth millions.
I believe that too, because the man was something else. All right, last question. I think this is a good one to end on. How do y'all feel about us at the depth of the safety position?
It's rough. It's rough. I mean, be honest with you, I think there better be some youngsters that step up because outside of, Key Lawrence, Billy Bowman, obviously Robert Spears Jennings, another guy that they feel
Broyles and Harrington maybe.
Yeah, but Broyles and Harrington I think they're more of that nickel right now. So, but I mean, Broyles kind of fluctuates back and forth. Harrington's been at that nickel spot. So, look, we'll see. If they get Broyles to go back up one of those guys or start, I mean, look, people, I'm going to tell you, Broyles is going to play. The dude was decent to really good last year at the end of the season. I mean, he had 2 picks at the end of the year, right?
Broyles gets slandered because of his freshman year. And
he gets slandered because of the Peach Bowl against
exactly. That's what I'm
LSU.
saying. Like, yeah, he was thrown in there against maybe the greatest team ever. And I mean, what's he supposed to do? He's gotten better. He's got a lot.
Yeah, he's been. The coaches love him. The coaches, even these coaches, love him. Like, here's the thing, fans: if multiple coaching staffs come in and they love the guy, there's something he's doing right, and you guys got to get it out of your head that he's not 2019 Justin Broyles.
He keeps playing. Like, this is the Patrick Fields argument, right? It's like the dude played more snaps than everybody on the defense. Like,
somebody literally said in the chat, he's short, he talks a lot, and that's how he manipulates the coaches to play him. Bro, they don't play people that just don't play. They don't play people just to play them. They don't. Like, they have to prove it on the field. They talk about how smart he is. He's always in the right place. Like, look what he did at the end of the last 3 or 4 games last year. He scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
What is, like, come on. Like, people, come on. Like, he's not 2019 version. He's not great, but he's you can win a lot of games with him. Like, you're not going to lose games because he's out there. Like, that's how I feel about him.
Even our highest rated player in the 2019 class, right? Or 2018, right? That's when he came in.
He was a 2017 class.
2017.
He was 2017. Yeah.
He's the last guy. He's the last man standing.
My cousin was in that class. Tyrese Lott is my cousin, Brandon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I mean, just an update on him. He's just in Ardmore chilling. So my whole family's from Ardmore. I have no family up here. My mom just moved up here with my dad.
He tried to come back when they told him no.
I know. He shouldn't have left in the first place. Messing with them
He
girls.
had all the talent in the world, man. He was fast. He was so fast. The dude ran like a 4.6, and he was like 285 pounds. He was fast, man.
Yep. Just saw him at Thanksgiving. He just big for no reason. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm not saying, look, on the Broyles thing, I'm not saying he's going to be like this all-world player, all-conference player.
He's not a first-round pick. We get it.
He feels like he, in his heart of hearts, he feels like he's going to play in the NFL. Like, he's that confident. So who are we to say, like, it's going to be proven on the field one way or the other. He's going to contribute. Nobody's saying he's going to start, but he's going to play, and people are going to have to get over that.
Yep. New staff, who knows? I mean, that's what we were talking about yesterday. There's so many players that, can take and probably have taken steps in a different direction, not only because of Schmitty and, everything he's done, but the coaching staff and the development that they're getting. I know Travis has talked at length about Jordan Kelly and how he looks and the potential he might have this year. So,
I mean, Todd Bates, when I asked him straight up, he brought up JK. I mean, brought him up. He brought up Redmond, JK, Ethan Downs, Strip, and then who else did he bring up? He brought up Josh Ellison. He brought up Isaiah Coe. Like he said, they're very confident in the defensive line right now. Even Chavis brought up Strip and was like, dude, that guy's become a leader. Like, he's doing this, and this. Like, watching his maturation has been amazing. They love Jonah Lulu. I hate saying that name. I butcher it every time. Lulu. Yeah, something like that. And then, they brought up Clayton too. I thought that was interesting. They haven't heard a lot about him, but I guess he's doing really well, really zoned in now. So we'll see if he can start putting on the weight. Like, he's got to put on the weight. And I think that's something he's working hard to do, because he did not work hard. Like, he goofed off a lot with the previous staff from what I was told. And I think that's kind of
goofed off a lot, you said?
Yeah, he was kind of he had some maturity issues, I guess would be the
okay.
I love Clayton. Like, Clayton's my dude. I've known him for quite a while. Like, he's a good kid. I mean, he had some growing up to do, and I think he's doing it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that will probably conclude our show. We appreciate y'all for coming out. Brandon, man, it's been so great having you on. I told Trav.
Appreciate y'all, man.
This is probably one of the funnest shows we've done in a long time.
I got one last question, only because I just thought of it.
Okay.
Who is more likely to not start for their team this year at quarterback? Quinn Ewers or Baker Mayfield?
Quinn Ewers.
Good.
And I mean, look, they're even talking about, like, there's no decision. Hudson Card is, like, right there with him. They said it today. So
we've never heard that before.
Yeah, I mean, like, this isn't.
Kyler Murray was in a
like,
battle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think both of them start. So, I mean,
yeah,
whatever.
You got two quarterbacks. You got zero quarterbacks.
I'm not talking about Hudson Card. I was talking about Baker and Ewers.
Oh, I got you. I was about to say, I was like, hey, Texas has tried it all. I'll tell you what, these habanero chunk pickles, they're putting me through it over here. I'm all red. Whew, folks got me those down in Grapevine, so I'm excited to try them out. But, yeah, we'll let Brandon go watch the Ninja Turtles. So appreciate you coming on, man. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah, I got some 10 and under kids everywhere. So
who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Michelangelo, dude. Michelangelo.
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
Just
Come on, man.
at the jet.
Cowabunga, bro.
All right, cowabunga, guys.
All right. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the JP and Trav show next week, 9 p.m. Central Time. Brandon, where can they find you? Most of you know his Twitter handle, but just in case they don't follow you, where can they find you on Twitter?
Yeah, you can find us, or you can find me at Brandon Drumm 247. You can go to OU 247 for Twitter as well. You can go to OU Insider on 247 on YouTube and Instagram, or you can go Oklahoma 247, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called on Facebook. There's like 500,000 people on there. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. So,
all right, great. We appreciate you being on here again. Guys, we'll see you next week. Boomer.
See y'all.